In this video, we are talking about LED and why I, as an esthetician, love it and will never be without it. Stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back. Christine Byer here, licensed esthetician for 22 years. And on this channel, we talk about your skincare journey because it's never one thing that makes your face look better. It's a whole combination of things. So in this video, we're going to talk about LED, light emitting diodes, and what they can do for the skin. If you follow the beauty community on YouTube at all, you know about the benefits of LED. One good dose of LED, high quality, tightly packed LEDs. You see how close these are tightly packed together? And the line that you can't see is infrared. So this is all LEDs. One good dose, which is about a half hour with this device, can activate the skin, the cells of the skin, to turn over 5 to 7 times faster for up to the next 14 days. That's crazy. Yeah, LED has been scientifically proven to work. I did a series years ago about how LED helps for bruising. Now, we're not really allowed to talk about the non-cosmetic uses of LED, but I can say I've used it on many bruises. Post car wrecks, post accidents. I mean, LED, sprained ankles, it is the bomb, especially infrared for those things. Oh, just a wonderful anti-inflammatory for the entire body. But for me as an esthetician, the reason I love LED, let me tell you, when I first got into this business, I got my license in 2001, and that's all they had. I remember I went to a skincare show and I was looking around, and it's all product, glycolic acid, vitamin C. That was the big thing, I was like, really? And I saw this little device, and they called it, what was that thing called? I think it was called a cosmetic device, and it was made in Melbourne, Florida by this company, I can't remember. And it had a little probe that had 19 red and infrared LEDs, and using that thing was like watching paint dry. It was so boring, but it gave such great results, and it super saturated the skin. And that's why I know that there are cuffs for the neck and face masks and all this stuff, but the thing is, those break down. And I'm still a diehard fan of these little utilitarian sort of flat devices that deliver the energy straight into the skin. So it's not like a mask where it's sort of off the face and all the LEDs scattering about and not being absorbed directly into the skin. And you want them to be tightly packed. And a lot of those masks, the LEDs are far apart. So you're not getting as much energy as you could if you were using it flat on the skin and with tightly packed together LEDs. My Pilates instructor back in the day, such a sweetheart, Arthur Curtis, if you're out there, hello. He came in and we traded back then because I was broke. It was when I first got in the business. And I bought that device. It was $3,200. And I broke my golden rule, which I learned afterwards, always do your research. But I used the crap out of that device. I used it constantly. And so Arthur came in, he was in his 60s back then, and he had some peculiar looking stuff on his face, but he just would not go to the doctor. I didn't think he had very good health insurance. I was in Miami at the time. And so he came in, and I would do like an hour with this device on his face once a week. And I tell you, after about 6 months, all the weirdness started to retreat. I don't know what they were. So much sun-induced stuff, He has blue eyes and he's light-skinned. And I just couldn't believe what the LED was doing, how it was changing the quality of his skin, and that the infrared, wow, it really increases like the immune function of the skin. It's so deeply penetrating. So that made me a true believer. So yeah, LED does a bunch of different stuff to the skin, but as far as end result, for an esthetician, we always want things that are gonna speed up cellular turnover, refine the pores, plump the skin, help the skin uptake ingredients that we put on afterwards, right? Or penetrate ingredients. And LED, I find LED over a clear hydrating mask is the bomb. The LED still gets through, but it will suck up part of that hydration in the process. Now, knowing that, I want to tell you one caveat with LED: using it too often and too much. It's like trying to run a marathon and not drinking extra water. So if you're not masking every time you use LED and you're using LED every day, which I don't recommend, I think you need it about twice a week, about a half an hour a week. If you're using it every day, you will get what I call the skin uglies. And you'll know when you're overusing LED. The skin really, it looks the opposite of what you would expect. It looks lackluster, it looks depleted, it looks dull and dry because you've just made it run a marathon and not given it any extra water. So yeah, I would say 2 to 3 times a week, good solid dose of LED, flat up on, tightly packed LEDs, flat up on the skin, and you're solid. You don't need, drink extra water before and after your treatment if you feel like you're a little dehydrated, because it needs water to work. It's like photosynthesis with plants. You can't just give plants sun and no water. It needs water too. So yeah, I've used LED. Gosh, I had a client once that came in that I did just a really light peel on her, and it triggered a herpes simplex. What is the one? I think it's simplex 1 that forms around the mouth. Triggered a mega one, like right up on the corner of her nose. And I said, just come in. And so I worked on it, and it was, she just was like an oil making machine. It had some little, it's just not pretty. Anyway, I extracted it and sort of dried it out and used LED on it for half an hour. And in 4 days, that sucker was gone. Yeah, it just dried it up. It just kicked in the immune function and helped regulate the oil production, and it just helped clean it up and get it moving on. So yeah, LED is so helpful for cuts and scrapes. And so, it's like anytime I used to do fibroblast, I'm going to be doing fibroblast again, but it's basically a little spark that you use on the face that shrinks the tissue and it leaves little dots, or it burns the face essentially. It's a controlled burn, a controlled injure of the face. I always use LED after that. I will use like a lesser powered one that's kind of far away, because your face is just like hot. This is like post-procedure LED. So I use like a one that doesn't sit flat on the face, only for this situation. It's a higher powered LED, so I still get within 3 inches of that. And I'll show you that here in a second. That's a professional model. It's a great device. And so post-invasive treatments, laser, big peels, this is my insurance policy that clients are gonna heal up fine. Post microneedling, I go in with LED, always LED. It is my insurance policy. It's anti-inflammatory. It's like an analgesic. It takes the pain out. It speeds up cellular turnover. So when I do like a full face fibroblast, where I just burn off my whole face with LED, all the scabs are gone and I'm looking somewhat normal by day 4. Without LED, it takes 5, 6, 7 days for everything to fall off. So as a matter of fact, I have never done it without LED, because I'm like, no, I want to heal fast. And plus it's soothing, it's analgesic. So it brings down that inflammation and you just feel better after using LED on an open wound, So yeah, it's my insurance policy. So it refines the pores, works on fine lines and wrinkles, helps brighten pigmentation. On some Asian skin types, it can darken temporarily. So on those skin types, I would recommend the color green or yellow. Yeah, I would use a skin brightener, like a non-acid skin brightener with their device. It's a little tricky, but it happens to some people who have melasma, where heat will trigger pigmentation. And so we kind of have to figure the golden balance of like enough anti-inflammatories with your LED device. But in my case, 100 clients don't leave with extra pigmentation. They look calmed, their face is less red, their face is super plump, they look airbrushed, and their pigmentation looks less because I've done a peel of some kind, and then I've worked in like the Brighten the Day, for example, from Christine Byer Aesthetics Botanicals line. The Brighten the Day, it's a non-acid skin brightener, and it can be put on after a peel and before LED. It's clear, worked into the skin, no problems. So yeah, these are the reasons I love LED. It's my insurance policy after invasive treatments. It refines pores, it refines wrinkles, it makes the skin look healthy, it can reverse photo damage. It's just amazing what LED does. And any self-respecting beauty YouTuber, if you watch them as they get older, they all use them. They all use them. They have their favorites. My favorite is the ones that are flat, that are utilitarian, you can travel with. Oh, I wanted to show you what happens to the plastic ones. And this is why I'm just not jumping on board, because it just aggravates me to no end. So this is my Illuminate, and I love these guys. They have great customer service, because the first one I bought had less of a backing to it. It was more plastic. It was more like papery, right? More cardboardy. And so they saw my video and they sent me a brand new one. I sent the other one back. Thank you, Illuminate. I think it was through Shelly Hancock, but thank you, Illuminate. However, I have started to notice buckling with this. So can you see that? And the problem with that is that even though it's got this big rubber coating on it, when you get that bend, it means eventually the circuitry is going to short itself out. And so that is my only beef with these sort of rounded, papery, flexible ones, is that eventually they break down. You can't travel with them. They sit a little bit off the face. Their LEDs are usually spaced further apart. But yeah, that's my personal preference. So this gets used, see how tightly packed these LEDs are? So when I turn this on, you'll see how bright it is. Trigger warning. So you want something that is so bright that you can't look straight at it. I have clients, they're under goggles, and I usually put felt pads underneath the goggles to really block out the LED so that it doesn't affect their eyes. But yeah, this is a bright one, and this has a 5-minute treatment time. So it is super saturating, and the skin can be up to, I think it's 3 inches away, and it still gets the same amount of energy as if it were right on top of the skin, which is fantastic. I mean, that is something Illuminate has done that I was really impressed with. So clients look absolutely airbrushed after LED, especially that device. And so these are all the reasons I love LED. If you do not have an LED device, please treat yourself to one. I sell them. They're all over the internet. Just make sure you get them tightly packed together with a lot of jewels, a lot of juice going into the skin, and don't overuse them, and just work it into your routine 2 to 3 times a week for beautiful glowing skin. Thanks for watching. Bye now.